What's going on there, LEGO fans? Welcome back. Alex and Josh with you here. Today we picked up the new LEGO Technic BUGATTI Chiron set from the LEGO store, and this was released just yesterday, which was June 1st, 2018, and that's actually when I first saw the images of this thing was just yesterday, and now less than 24 hours later I actually have it because I love the scale. Yeah, it's a beautiful model, yes, but the scale of 1/8 is just perfect. I love when LEGO builds in this scale because it allows for a lot of extra additional features that just aren't allowed in 1/10 scale, for example. So a lot of features such as suspension, push-on suspension in some vehicles is just not possible in other scales. So this is very comparable to the Porsche 911 GT3 RS that came out 2 years ago. In fact, let me slide in the box here that I had Josh fish from storage. So this came out a couple years ago and was $300 with 2,704 pieces, right? Now, 2 years later, we get the Chiron, which is 3,599 pieces and $350. So for $50 more, you get, man, what is that, 900 pieces more? So pretty good value there in my opinion, and I love that it's 3,599 pieces. I don't know why they couldn't just throw in one more piece in there and make it an even 3,600, but whatever. But this box is very compact but very heavy, and when I picked it off of the shelf, I thought, whoa, this thing has got some girth. So we'll have to weigh it and just kind of see what this thing weighs with the box and then with all of its content, as well as the model itself once built. So I think this is going to be, with this many pieces, I think this is going to be a very challenging build. It'll be time consuming. I have no idea. I think it'll be 10 hours about there to get this done. So let's go ahead and get this thing unboxed and see what we have inside. And just for fun, we're going to weigh this thing before we get into it. Turn on the scale. We got pounds and ounces as the measurement. And we've got 13 pounds even. 13 pounds on the dot. That's amazing. It's right on the dot like that. So let's remember this number when we actually, at the conclusion of this video, have the model built by itself. are back and we are finally done with this massive build. This thing took quite a long time, very, very challenging. I think this took about 10 hours to complete, a little bit longer than anticipated, and I gotta say, it was probably the most challenging build I have ever had. And that's from a guy who's been building Lego sets for close to 30 years. So for fun here, I have got the Porsche 911 out, just for a fun little comparison here. Let's go ahead and take a look at these instruction booklets. They are very similar in size with the Bugatti. They went with two instruction booklets, but when we have it side by side here with the very thick Porsche one, very similar in size, but it looks like the Bugatti does beat it out just a little bit there. And why not? Because it does have, like I said, hundreds and hundreds of more pieces in this particular vehicle. Now I will say this, it's interesting that Lego went with this vehicle to produce as a Lego set. Because it's very circular, right? The model itself, I'm sure you can find an image of it in here somewhere, but it's very, very round. And with Lego, it's hard to get things that are round or circular to really work well. So interesting that they went with the Bugatti Chiron in this case. But I gotta say, all things considered, they did about a good job as one could expect with this particular build. I think the designer said he went through at least 100 redesigns before he was very happy with this result. And although I can be very critical of a lot of the gaps and lines that are exposed here, I think it's kind of getting nitpicky based on this being a Lego set, because I don't think you can get any closer, any better with matching the design of the Chiron than this guy did with that. So kudos to him. And I mentioned I wanted to weigh this thing when it's completed, so we're gonna go ahead and do that. One thing I like about this thing is you can lift up the Chiron by the roof of the car with no problems. You can't really do that with the Porsche. All right, so this thing weighs at 6 pounds, 7.5 ounces, and I think it was 13 pounds with all the packaging before. And since we have the Porsche here, why not weigh it as well? All right, so this is 5 pounds, 5.5 ounces, so quite a difference in weight between the two, but obviously when you have a piece difference of what, almost 900 pieces thereabouts, yeah, that's going to be expected. So let's talk features about the Bugatti here. One of the main features is that you get this little extra key here that allows you to stick it underneath the wheelbase here behind the rear wheel and twist it, and that lifts up the rear spoiler in a very fun way. I don't know if there we go, there it tweaks a little bit. And then goes back down. So you can go back and forth and do this, or you can just do it with your hand, which works just as well, if not better, in my opinion. So I think they were just kind of going for some extra fun little pizzazz with this little fun tool, but I don't like that. The tool, you have to kind of find a spot for it. It's not something you're going to keep in your pocket, obviously. There's not really a place to put it within the Chiron itself. So pretty cool feature, but I kind of wish they had a spot to put this. Turning the vehicles on their sides, we kind of get to look underneath the vehicles to kind of see what's going on there as far as all these wonderful Technic elements. Of course, I got the Porsche next here with it. Now, the Porsche has a lot of stuff going on. It is no slouch, but when I go over to the Chiron, there is so many more elements just jam-packed in this thing. It's incredible. Now remember, this thing is all-wheel drive, and it has 16 cylinders, whereas the Porsche just has that V6, so quite a bit difference there. And actually, as I have them on the side, it looks like the Porsche, as far as the front of the vehicle, is a lot narrower, not as wide, I should say. I think the back is probably just as wide as the Chiron, it looks like. But man, just look at this now. With it being all-wheel drive, I don't know if this is gonna, yeah, hear all the gears working there. I should, now when I do this, the other wheel moves there, so it's kind of nice that they actually have these drive shafts connected with the front and back wheels, and there you see the differential working, and I think there's a differential right there for the front as well. A lot of fun stuff going on in there. It's pretty incredible that they were able to jam-pack so many moving pieces inside this thing. So the Chiron does have a hood. Open this thing up and it reveals a small little place to put your purse, your man purse, your purse. Not a lot of space in there, but very comparable to the Porsche. It also has a little bag that you can throw in the front. All right, let's go ahead and look at the interior of the Bugatti. Open this thing up. Now, the door actually, first of all, opens very wide. I think the Porsche only opens up to about right here, so it's kind of nice to have a little bit of access to get in there. Now, this does have a working steering wheel, obviously. Yeah, it's easier to just do it this way, right? It does have the gears here, so you have reverse and neutral and drive, and then of course you have the ability to shift the gears with this panel that goes back and forth, and actually works very smoothly, a little bit better than the Porsche in my opinion. This next bit is going to be a suspension test. Now, these both have the same amount of suspension springs in them. There's 2 per wheel. So what we're going to do is, now remember the Chiron is a lot heavier than the Porsche, but I really think that if you're going to design a car like this, that if you push down on the suspension, it should push it back up. So on the Porsche, I push all the way down. It comes back just a little tiny bit there. I mean, there's not a lot of give, but it does push back a little bit. If I push down on the Chiron, watch those front wheels, it does not go back up. So let me move this back up here. So again, off the floor. Okay, that's the weight of the car. I push down, does not come back up. Let's go ahead and do the rear wheels. Again, these are lifted completely off of the ground. So the Porsche, it comes almost all the way back up. And the Chiron, ooh, a little bit, but nowhere near where it should be. So again, let me lift this thing up here. So there it is. Push it down. Ugh, not a whole lot going on there, but the Porsche, wow, that is much better. That's where it should be. Getting a little nitpicky there, but again, I really wish it was more, it would go back to its original spot when you push these things down. Looking at the rear of the vehicles, they both look awesome. Very, very tough looking cars. I think the Chiron looks a little bit more sleeker than the Porsche. But we go up here and look at the engine. It is very visible, a lot more visible than the Porsche. This W16 cylinder engine is just insane. The Porsche, I don't know if you can even see it. I mean, you lift up the back here. It's kind of hard to see what's going on in there. So it does win out as far as visible cylinders go. They decided not to go with the translucent bricks for the rear lights, similar to the Porsche here. You have these translucent reds and whites in there, but it's all solid red elements that they have here on the back. But you know what? Looking at it, looks good. I think they pulled it off. Did a good job. Don't know how well this is going to show up. We're going to go ahead and push this thing and see if you can see these cylinders doing their work in here. Not bad. All right, guys, that's going to wrap it up for this build and review of the LEGO Technic Bugatti Chiron. Let me know what you guys think of this model, as well as the price of $350 for this 1/8 scale Bugatti, which is just about 3,600 pieces. And again, I will say, this is probably the most challenging LEGO set I have ever put together. That's saying something, I will say. But I had a great time putting it together, and glad that it's actually done. So I'm going to build a display for it, so it will be displayed in my office, and I think it might be a good opportunity when that is done to kind of do a little tour of how things are set up in my office for these larger models anyway, things that obviously cannot fit in my Lego city. So that is coming in the very near future. So you guys, let me know again. Let me know what you guys think of this awesome new Bugatti Chiron. If they got it, if they nailed it, or if they were way off base, let me know what your opinions are. And but regardless, it's mine now, so nothing I can do about it at this point. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and we'll see you guys again in the very near future. Until then, we'll see you. Bye-bye.